Hello and welcome to another episode of What in the Lore, and in today's episode I'm going to be taking a look at the Garlean Empire. And just as a note going into this is a very long one. I'm going to be covering as much as I possibly can within this video, and that's going to really cover the backstory as well as, why they did these invasions and stuff like that. Now there's a couple prominent figures from the Garlean Empire, and I'll be covering those in the next 3 videos. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into a little bit of the backstory. The Garlean Empire controls the majority of the northern and eastern regions of the enormous landmass of the 3 continents, of which Eorzea is a part. Until some 50 years ago, Garlemald was a small remote nation which held little more than a fraction of the Northlands. But with the revolutionary advancements in technology and dramatic restructuring of the military ushered in by an ambitious commanding legatus who later ascended to the seat of emperor, Garlemald soon established itself as one of the most formidable forces in all of Hydaelyn. The gigantic imperial warships which scorch the skies carry on board fleets of the Empire's juggernauts. Magitech-clad wing machina armed with devastating weaponry that are dispatched throughout the realm to rain terror and destruction from above. These forces, together with an immense standing army equipped with equally imposing arms and armor, grant Garlemald unrivaled military might. As the Empire's dominion expands into Eorzea, however, even its countless legions have begun to lag for numbers, and a policy of drafting and conscription has been implemented in all conquered lands. Let's look a little bit deeper into that, alright? Until around 50 years ago, Garlemald was a remote and sparsely populated nation occupying little more than a fraction of the Northlands. However, with the arrival of a technological golden age and the emergence of a brilliant young legatus, now emperor, with a single generation, Garlemald established itself as one of the most formidable forces in all of the world, and quickly started conquering other nations with its unmatched magitech, artillery, and air force. 15 years prior to the game's events, in the year 1557 of the 6th Astral Era, the Empire launched an attack on the city-states of Eorzea, using powerful machinery far more advanced than those of their enemies, and massive airships to wreak havoc on the northern part of Aldernard. Quickly, the once known as the most powerful of these city-states, Alamahigo, fell before the might of the Empire. The remaining states were forced to forget their past enemy to form an alliance to battle against the new foe. However, the Empire never attacked the southern nations of Eorzea due to the emergence of a primal shortly after the fall of Alamahigo. As quick as they came, they simply left. All the warriors and armies formed on the city-states were suddenly unemployed with no enemy to fight and no place to return, resorting to stealing and other acts of villainy to survive. To deal with this, a multitude of guilds and services were created on the city-states of Eorzea, creating the profession of adventurer, and beginning what became known as the Age of Adventure. Now this next bit is going to explain the second invasion of the forces, so there is some plot and spoiler warning, so that's my warning to you guys. For all these years, no new signs of the Garlean menace were seen, and peace slowly returned to the world of Eorzea. However, on the present day, this started to change. On Gridania, 2 adventurers known as Yada and Papamel were found lost in the woods and welcomed into town. It seems that part of their objective on the city-state were to spy on them and discover if they are preparing to start a war against the Empire, though it is unknown if they were sent there by the Garleans or not. Not long after, giant machines were spotted in the forest surrounding Gridania, destroying the Sylph camps in the process. Because of this, the Sylphs came to the path of the 12 seeking help, as the Metal Ones are destroying their seedlings, and it's up to the player to investigate the area, discovering that the Empire may be preparing a strong position to launch an attack against Gridania and the Black Shroud beast tribes, starting with the Sylphs. Later on, Garlean airships started dropping link pearls in all major city-states of Aldernard and Volbrand, stating that the beast tribes of Eorzea are plotting to call their Eokons to attack the Empire, and offering protection to all states that accepted to be ruled by the Empire and take arms against the beast tribes. More recently, the Garlean Empire has dispatched legions throughout Eorzea. Units have been engaged in combat within Thanalan as well as the Black Shroud. One legion, led by the notorious now Von Dernius, legatus of the 7th Legion, has invaded the Ishingardian stronghold known as Desmial Darkhold, securing the vast crystal deposits located inside the caves for Ceruleum harvesting, which then may be used by the Empire to summon their own primal. An unnamed legion has also infiltrated and planted strange technology within the 1,000 miles of Totorak, again for reasons unknown. Let's take a look at the motives behind the Garlean Empire. While not much has been directly explained about the Garleans' true intentions, a few hints are scattered around the main storyline. Most importantly, it's clear that those touched by the Echo and the Beastmen tribes, as well as their primals, are the enemies of the Empire, whose citizens and soldiers believe to be fighting for the greater good of their nation. During the final stretch of missions and Gauss von Basil's appearance, it is heavily hinted that the Ascensians are also targeted, and the soldiers believe they must prevent a catastrophic event from happening. During several missions, different characters also proclaim that the Empire is not the true enemy, which possibly means that while they were clearly antagonistic when it comes down to their chosen methods, the Garleans may actually be wanting to prevent a terrible event. Let's look at their military. The Garlean military is said to be one of the most powerful in all of Hedalion due to the Empire's technological progress. The army is divided into 14 large-scale units known as legions, and each legion is comprised of 10 infantry battalions known as cohorts. These cohorts are further broken down into 3 companies, or manipuli. Finally, a manipulus consists of 2 platoons, or centuri. Currently, 2 Garlean legions are present in Erosia as part of the invasion force. The 7th, led by Legatus Nal von Dernius, stationed on the Desmial Darkhold, and the 14th, led by Legatus Gaius von Belsiar, and stationed on the Silver Tier Falls and reasonable for holding El Mexico. What is currently unknown how they recruit soldiers from inside the Empire, a good portion of the low hierarchy Imperial troops are citizens from conquered areas such as El Mexico. After the fall of the city-state, many of its children have been brainwashed into hating the Primals and the Beastmen and became loyal servants of the Empire. There's also a heavy use of Magitech weaponry, out of which the Imperial Juggernaut is the most prominent, being used for both ground support and air battles due to its mobility and the powerful Magitech cannon. The air forces are also often backed up by massive dreadnoughts. Some fun trivia for the Garlean Empire. The name Garlean Empire seems to derive from Garland, the villain of the original Final Fantasy. The ranking with the Garlean army is modeled after that of the Roman Empire. As some people have been confused about the name of the Empire for some time, it has been posted on the official forums with an explanation. Garlmald is the name of the country, and Garlean is the adjective form of that. Now, the NPCs that I plan on talking about in the next few videos are Cid, Gaius, and Neil. But that just about wraps it up for the What in the Lore video on the Garlean Empire. If you guys have any feedback or anything at all, please post down in the comment section below. Please remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. So until next time, guys, may the blessing of the 12 be with you.